All right, in this video today, we are going to talk about mindset ceilings or emotional ceilings that we all experience. So have you ever had this time, whatever it is, I don't know what area of life it is for you, where you feel like you're stuck. You hit a plateau and you can't break through to the next level. And you're trying all these different things. You're trying all these different gimmicks and ways and different types of things to break through to the next level, but nothing is breaking you through to the next level. What is the answer? What is the solution to break you through to the next level? Usually the answer is found in your mindset. You have probably reached a mindset ceiling. I was listening to something Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach, was talking about a little while ago, and he was talking about, everyone is functioning at 100% of their current mindset ceiling. Okay, so a lot of times we say, we're not functioning at 100% of what we're capable of, but he says, you're functioning at 100% of your mindset ceiling. Okay, you're using everything that your mindset ceiling is allowing you to use. And so one of the concepts we talk about when we talk about building this abundant life blueprints, that's kind of my main thing. That's my main focus, is helping people build this abundant life blueprint. You can find a picture of the blueprint. You go to danielfoley.net. You can find a picture of that blueprint, but you'll see 7 rooms in the house. And one of the things we talk about when it comes to building that blueprint is there's a process for growing vertically, where we're getting connected to God. We're getting into rhythm with God. We're finding our purpose, and we're finding out that God wants to help me fulfill this purpose. He's got something that He wants me to accomplish with my life and to make an impact with my life, and I'm getting connected to Him, and I'm figuring out what that is. So I'm growing vertically in my connection with God, and then I'm growing horizontally, and then I'm growing in the practical areas of life. I'm learning how to connect with people better. I'm learning how to relate to people and communicate and connect with them. I'm learning the practical skills in the areas of health and finances and family and raising my kids and how to be more productive with my time and make an impact on my community. I'm learning these practical areas, and I'm growing horizontally this way. So I'm growing both spiritually, and I'm growing vertically, and I'm growing in the practical areas of life. This is love God and love your neighbor as yourself. You got to love yourself in the middle of that as well. And I'm growing in both directions, but the key is the thing that wraps those together. We draw some circles around, we start from the inside and we start to draw some circles around this, and we say that you can only expand into areas of the blueprint where you have emotional mastery. Okay, your emotional capacity is actually the thing that holds you in. So you could have all the greatest practical skills in the world when it comes to, let's say, managing your money or investing your money or starting a business or in your health and fitness. You could know what to do. We see this all the time in the world of health and fitness. People know what to do. It's not that hard to figure out what to eat and how to get started, at least with your exercise. You might have some questions as you get a little further along, but most people know enough to at least get started and to know what to do. But what is the thing that keeps people stuck? It's their mindset. Okay, it's the emotional capacity, because maybe I don't have the faith to believe that I can figure it out. I don't have the willingness, the courage, and the humility to try and to be willing to be bad at something and to not be good at something when I first started. I don't have the emotional control over my emotions. My anger gets the best of me, and I snap at people maybe, and I lead into situations where I'm not loving people the way that I should be. Maybe I don't feel secure. Maybe I'm not willing to try because I don't feel secure. I don't feel like I'm enough. I don't feel like I'm capable. And these emotional limiting factors, what if I can't do it? All these things of fear and stress and worry and pride and lack of trust and, being discouraged and not being willing to step out there. All of these things limit us, and they bind us, and they put this ceiling on us. And, in the blueprint we talk about, it puts a circle around you and it closes you in. Okay. And the key, so if you are stuck in an area, one of the things that you have to do is you need to expand your emotional capacity. You need to expand your mindset, the way you think about the issue, and you need to expand your emotional capacity. Now, one of the things is, in order to do that, God always has this principle that He's never going to expand you out until you've kind of mastered the current level of where you are, until you've shown some proficiency and some mastery over the current level where you are. So you've got this mindset ceiling here, okay? And you need to take the things that were making you scared, that were making you discouraged, that were making you worried and stressed and fearful and insecure, and maybe making you snap and you get angry, whatever it is, all those things that are in your current world that are making you feel those emotions. You need to get to the place where we grow in our emotions. Now, the number one goal, this whole blueprint we're talking about, is growth. that you are continually growing. You're becoming more and more like Jesus every single day. You are continually growing over time. That is the key. Because if you seek that first, if you seek to become more like Him, you seek to be the kingdom of God, then everything else is added to you. And so I'm growing in my internal mindset and my emotions. That's what's putting the ceiling on me. That's what's limiting me and closing me in. And I've got to expand that. But I've got to develop mastery first on the level where I am. So in your current life, in your relationships, in your finances, in your health, whatever, your purpose, whatever it may be, what do you need to do to master the emotional capacity of where you currently are, okay? So that you have peace and you have joy and you have love in that current circle where you are, okay? Let's find peace and joy and love in that current circle. So when you go into your workplace and you go into your relationship and your health, let's start to find peace and joy where you currently are, in your finances. How can I manage them even more effectively? And then let's start to work on expanding them out. How can I have, things that used to make me angry, things that used to make me scared, things that used to make me feel insecure, I'm expanding out and I don't feel those emotions. I'm extending my peace and my joy and my love and my courage out to another level, okay? That's the key, because I can have all of these practical skills laying out here that are dormant. I can't get to them. Okay, because my emotional capacity won't let me expand out into them. So I could have, amazing skill sets. I could have an amazing connection with God. I could have, be the best investor in the world or whatever. But my emotions, you think about this from a practical perspective. Let's say in emotions. Let's say you look at the stock market, for example. Are most people's decisions driven by logic and peace and joy? Or are they driven by greed and fear and all these other types of things? These emotions cause people to lose a lot of money, let's say, in the stock market, because they are letting these negative emotions drive them rather than viewing them from a different perspective. And so as I can expand out into a new level of emotional capacity, all of a sudden when I do that, I can expand out into talents and gifts and things that I'm good at, skills that I'm good at, things that I know how to do, and I can be a blessing to myself and be a blessing to other people in the world. I can't get into those skill sets until I can emotionally expand out into them, okay? And so I have to have this willingness to grow and to expand. And so the first thing is we have to have a mindset of growth. I'm continually looking to grow. I'm continually looking to expand. It talks about, Jesus says, of his kingdom, it will be continually growing. There will be no end. It's ever growing. The peace that he has, for example, his kingdom is growing, and of his peace there will be no end. It's continually growing. And so the same needs to be said about you. If you are stuck at a plateau, my question is, stop looking for all the gimmicks and the fads and the information and the one piece of information that's going to break you through. Start focusing on mastering the current emotions that you're feeling on a day-to-day basis where you are right now. Okay, mastering those, because you can't get to these practical skills until you grow in your emotional capacity. Okay, so it's a pretty simple concept, but we could get pretty deep into it if we really wanted to break it down. But the number one key is we got to grow. We got to grow and start to find more peace, more joy, more love in the current situation, more presence in the current situation where you are. And let's start to work on bringing that into your daily life, bringing it into your finances, into your health, into your work, into your purpose, into your family, into your community. And then we can start to expand out into some of those skill sets. Maybe you didn't even know you had. Maybe you had some things that you could expand into, okay, but you didn't know you had the ability to yet, because you were closed off to it. You couldn't expand out into it emotionally. Now, as we do that, you're going to find that you tap into things and you activate things in your life. It's just like genetics. Your genetics have dormant genes that can be turned on or turned off. Now, a lot of times people talk about, you've got genes for cancer or diabetes or negative things, disease risk factors that are waiting to be turned on. But what most people don't talk about is you have a whole set of genes on this other side that is waiting to be activated and to be turned on, but it must have the right emotional environment. You must have what turns on genes, what turns off genes is the environment that they are in. The environment causes genes to turn on and turn off and to activate. And so if you want to live a more activated life where you feel fully charged, fully fulfilled, okay, the key is expanding your emotional capacity, because you can't get into those skill sets. You can't get into those things that God has prepared for you. He's prepared for you more than you could ever imagine, but you can't get to it if you are not willing to grow emotionally, if you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone and to stretch and to grow emotionally. Now, the other part of this is stretch, okay? Very simple thing, okay? I know this is a very simple thing, but I learned this a while back. When I was back in college, the best year I ever had when I was pitching, I was playing baseball in college, I was stretching every night before bed. If you want to expand those circles, start to stretch. Super simple thing. It's a physical thing, but anything that you do, your spirit, your soul, your physical body are all connected. Start to stretch before bed every night. Really simple thing. You're going to stretch those circles out. Your emotional capacity will grow by stretching your physical body. Sounds like a simple thing, but it actually works, okay? Start to stretch. Start to stretch your emotions. Start to expand out into new things. Be willing to try the new things. Be willing to be bad at something and bring that peace, that joy, that love, and expand it out to a bigger radius, a bigger circle, and you're going to find that you get into things that you didn't know were possible for you because we were limiting ourselves so much. Now, the other thing you can do is think much bigger. Okay? When we start to think bigger, I learned this from Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach as well. He talks about when you think about, if you wanted to, let's say, 2 times your business, you wanted to double your income or double your business, okay? He says, that typically causes you to look into the past and to say, these are the things that worked for me in the past. These are the things that I could do to double my income. But he says, what you need to do is you need to think 10 times bigger. If I was going to grow my life, improve my health, improve my finances, improve my relationships, improve my business and my impact, by 10 times, what would I need to do? And he says that typically causes you to look at growth, typically to look into the future. What do I need to do to grow? What do I need to do to expand and to get to that level? And that's the kind of thinking that we have to be continually growing on a daily basis. We have to have a compelling future that's pulling you forward and waiting and wanting to activate these things that are lying dormant in your life. You've got all these things just waiting in your heart to be activated. And we have to expand emotionally to get into those things. So, a bigger future. We have to grow. We have to have a bigger future. We have to be willing to expand. We need to be willing to stretch. Just stretching your physical body every night before you go to bed can be a very simple thing that you can do. If you don't know what to do, I'm sure you know some stretches. You can find some very basic stretches that you can do. Just stretch all the major areas of your body. If you want to learn more about that, I've got a whole evening stretching routine in my online course, The Foundations of Abundant Health. You can go in there and you can find that in that course. But stretch yourself. Be willing to grow and to expand emotionally. Find more peace, find more joy, find more love where you currently are and expand them out another level. Develop mastery where you are and then continue to expand from where you are. Now, I hope this helps. If you want to learn more, like I said, you can find the blueprint at danielfoley.net. You'll see a picture of it on there. Or you can learn more. I've got some of this stuff that we talk about in my books. 7 Days with Jesus, we talk about the process of getting spiritually connected with God and growing and maturing in your emotions. And then in my book, Cracking Heaven's Code, we go through all of the emotions. We talk about the importance of emotions, how they're translators, letting you know what's happening in your heart, letting you know when there's lies that you're believing in your heart. Your emotions are these translators. They're meant to give you feedback. They're a gift from God to let you know when something's not right, to let you know when you need to make adjustments. And if you can learn to speak this language of emotions, it is a very powerful thing. But your emotions are the thing that are limiting you. Okay? If you are stuck in an area, let's work on growing in our emotional maturity, emotional capacity, and expanding that out from where you currently are.